All right, good morning, everyone. Good day, everyone. Good evening, everyone, wherever you are. Hope you are having a fantastic day or had a fantastic day. If you are catching this on the replay, I am Dr. Vernita Glenn White. I go by Dr. V, and I am an expansion strategist. Yeah, expansion. I help high achieving, ambitious women vibrate higher in their influence, brilliance, and excellence so they can expand that brilliance beyond their positions, titles, and degrees so they can have the dynamic kick A life that they know that they deserve and a life that they love. I believe that we all have gifts and talents inside of us that can change the world. And then those of us who have been received extra training, whether that's traditionally educated or you've learned some skill sets along the way of your professional journey, that on top of what we were naturally created to do, when we combine those and expand those, I truly, truly believe we can change the world. Yes, yes, I do. All right, I think everyone can hear me, right? You can hear me? Good. All right, so today is day 28 of Building Brilliance Awareness. I am super excited. We have been going strong for a couple of weeks now, and it's been a full series on Building Brilliance Awareness. If you are new, these are just some topics that I love to discuss, and with some action steps that comes a little later, for you to do. And if you do them in the series or in the sequence, I do believe that there's a shift that will happen for you. I did a lot of these exercises when it was talking about like a possibility diet. I followed Lisa Nichols when she did that. So I said, well, if it worked for me for just possibility, let's see what would happen if we talked about being brilliant. And if you don't know, being brilliant is about letting your light shine, being bold, embracing everything that's inside of you and putting it out on display, not in an arrogant or cocky way, but allowing what's already inside of you to show up. A lot of us who are in top positions or have, titles and labels, titles and labels, sometimes we dim our light after we come out of work. And we're like two different people. Sometimes we show up one way at work, but not in our personal lives. And then rarely, I'm not going to say all the kids, but just in my experience, we are like, well, no, I've seen this too, but they usually don't have a problem in their personal lives. But big, bold personalities outside of work, then when they go to work, they're like more quiet, humble, and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but I tend to work with the women who it's the other way. It's like you are the boss, you are the top person, the manager, the CEO, all of that, doctor, whatever the case may be at work. But then in your personal life is just something that's missing, right? I work with women to find what's missing, uncover what's missing, and expand when we find it. Expand on that so your brilliance can shine, everywhere, because people are counting on you. But first, and we show up for those people. But imagine how we would show up if we showed up more for ourselves. We stepped into the full power that we had, and just something simple as transferring some of those traits that we have in our professional space, so your career or even in your business. What does that look like around, your friends, your family, associates, when you go around church or a place of worship, or when you're out at a happy hour, or when you're on a girls trip, or you're at a networking event? How do you show up? Because, for example, if you are, no nonsense at work or in your business, in your professional space, you're no nonsense. It is what it is. I asked you for this. I expected for you to do it on this day. I checked in with you. You said you were good. You didn't do it. Your service is no longer needed. If you're that kind of person at work, then something happens in your personal life and you're not that way. you're non-negotiable at work, but not in your personal life. It may be your finances. You may not, be non-negotiable about those. Like we said, we were going to save this amount, or we were going to make this X amount. What happened? It's almost like we give our personal lives a pass. So like I said, with the finances, if you're like that straightforward at work, are you that straightforward in your budget and knowing where your money goes, or what's coming in, what's going out, what are you spending it on? Same thing with your health. You said you wanted to release the weight. You said you were going to eat right. You know all the steps to do. Why aren't you doing it? So that's what I mean about showing up as your full self in all situations. There is a thing where you, like, some people say code switch, or whatever the case may be. You may use different, your tone may be different at work. You may put the extra endings on your words at work, whatever the case. So I'm not talking about that. There is a professional side, but it shouldn't be so drastic to where people don't know that you are like the bomb.com. Not in like I said, not in a bragging way. So you don't go around, flaunting, this is what I do, and because I'm this position, and that's how you talk about with your friends. Like, you still be a human person, you still connect with them, but at the same time, you don't have to dim your light around those people either. And then they're not in awe of you all the time. They're not like, oh my gosh, that's such and such, we can't really talk around her because, and if they are, that's their own issues, not yours. And you probably need a different group of people. All right. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I just wanted to give you, because we're wrapping up, some people may have come to the end, really want to talk to you about why do we need to build brilliance awareness, because sometimes we forget how brilliant we are. We leave our jobs, we leave our positions, we leave, our businesses, and then we come home, or we transition. That could be another thing. We transition out of those careers, but we still have that brilliance inside of us, and then we forget. I know that was me. I tell this whole story in my book, embracinggritforgreatnessbook.com. You can go to that, embracinggritforgreatnessbook.com. It is called Embracing Grit for Greatness: How to Become Professionally Powerful Through Personal Empowerment. Because even if you are like the bomb.com at work, if something's not going right in your personal life, it will show up. And the part about being like a high achiever, a high performer, we know how to make that look good. We still know how to make that look good. And a lot of people can't tell, but we can. So imagine if we had all of that fixed, or we knew the tools and strategies to get our personal lives together, how dynamic we'll be in our professional lives. I've seen that personally in myself. I've seen that in clients that I work with. And even as a consultant, when I work with school districts and I talk to them about really your core values, like I bring in the personal part because they are professionals. And I was like, bringing in that personal part, they fix your life because you're out here trying to, help students. You need to help yourself. And even they are becoming more aware, like, oh my gosh, yes, it is subconsciously coming up in the classroom that my life is jacked up. Yes, it is. And this is at the college level. So, all right. So today is really talking about if you really knew me. We hide behind labels sometimes. And you may be some designer clothes, your makeup, your hair, this persona you put on. We hide behind our positions, our titles. We come across sometimes like, this is me, this is my whole package, I look great. Nothing wrong with that. I love, some big hair, some nails, some makeup. I remember when YouTube was first coming out, I was like, I probably should have been a YouTuber. I would watch the little videos, and these were like back in the day, like 10, 12 years ago, when the videos weren't that great, but I would try to do all of my eyeshadow and my makeup, and I would just sit in the house with my makeup on. So I love makeup. My mom was like, where are you going? Nowhere. I just wanted to practice. So I love all of that. I love a nice outfit. I love being pulled together. I love shoes. I love all of that. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. But who are we when we take all of that off? Who are we when we don't tell people we're doctor, or when people don't know that we are the CEO of this company, or we're the president of this organization? Who are we when people don't know that? I remember going to a retreat, I think in 2019. Oh, this is lemon water, get warm lemon water, gotta get stuff moving in the morning and things circulating. I remember going to a retreat, and one of the questions were, if you really knew me. Well, one of the statements we had to say to each other, if you really knew me, you would know that, blank, blank, blank. And we were in groups of, I think, 4 or 5. Maybe it was 20 of us. I don't remember, but it wasn't an intimate group, but it wasn't a huge group. I mean, it was intimate considering, but then we got even smaller, like 4 or 5 in a group, and we had to go around and say, if you really knew me. Now, we did create a safe space, so I'm not saying that you go do this I wouldn't even do this with some of your close friends if they don't understand the journey and the process that you're going on. Because going on those retreats, and I personally want to host one as well, is you get a chance to be who you are outside of your titles, positions, labels, all of that. Even women who were stay-at-home mothers, they had degrees and everything, but they decided that they wanted to stay home, but they wanted to be like, who am I outside of just being a mother? Because it was like, I had a life before the children came, or before the spouse came, and then I focused on that, but who am I away from that? I'm not a mother yet, but I don't believe that you should be lost in your children. Now, that could be coming from someone who doesn't have children and don't understand all of that, but you were a whole person before they came. Yes, do adjustments happen? Absolutely, but I don't believe you should just give up your full self, because who are they going to look to as an example? You are their first example. So, but I'm not going to get on that soapbox. So we had to go around and say, if you really knew me. And, like I said, we created the safe space. Everyone on that retreat, we had already done some pre-work, to get there and, to uncover things about ourselves and, all of that. We did some norms or some group rules or some agreements or whatever. And we started going around in a circle. If you really knew me, you would know that I'm an introvert. This is real. That's what I'm telling you. Because I'm keeping it, kind of surface, because we didn't do the agreements, okay? If you really knew me, you would know that I'm an introvert. And I know people are shocked by that. I was like, you're an introvert? Yeah. When the Polaroid happened, I was like, yes, I don't have to go anywhere. I can just be in my house. I don't have to deal with people. Because for me to go out, it takes some work. And then for me to be on this camera, it has taken a lot of work. So, I prefer to be like inside doing my thing. Another one, if you really knew me, you would know that it took me a few years to acknowledge that I was doctor, even after I graduated with my PhD, because I didn't want to be treated a different way. So we did that around and around, and we did it several times, and it got really deep. And to hear some of the things that the women shared, and I shared some things I had never told anyone. And it's like, when I shared it, it was with a group of strangers, but they weren't really strangers. We didn't grow up together. We didn't hang out because they came from all over the world. We were all in this one spot in this house on this island. So it was just us. And I shared what I shared, and I just felt this weight come off, because I knew that they weren't going to judge me. I knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere. I knew that it stayed over there in the island. No one brought it back up. And it's been a couple of years now. And the same thing with those women. I've kept things, close to my heart. And just that bond that we had with each other, and then to be able to just say it. because there are times we can't just say things to our friends. We can't say things to our families because they look at us sometimes. I'm just going to speak for me. They look like, why are you having problems? Or why are you struggling? Or how could you let that happen? Or anything, because you are X, Y, and Z. You should know better. You didn't grow up that way. You know, all of those things. And some of it is judgment, and some of it is, shame that you may have, or if you made a certain decision, in your life. But sometimes you just can't talk to the people that are close to you in your circle. And this is not saying that, so I want to be careful. So there are times where you do have your good friends. I do have a good core circle of girlfriends, and I share with them some things. And then there are just some things they just don't know. And people may say, but they're not your true friends if they don't tell, if they don't know. I don't believe that. I don't believe that you have to tell everything like that to like one person. You may have like some people where you spread out secrets and like you got to get all those people in the room together to put the bits and pieces together. You could do that, but I just don't, like, not one person knows like every single thing about me. Because sometimes we have this image that we want to protect. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to do that, but I do believe we all need to be in a space to where we can get something out and not feel judged. So there was a lot of like breakthroughs happening in that situation, because when I tell you, these women were like working for Google, they were working for the government, they had multi-million-dollar tech businesses. They were famous authors. Like, I was in some room with some heavy people, like, whoa. And to see them be able to just release, because they feel like they had to carry themselves a certain way because of their positions, titles, or degrees, or everything like that. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't hold yourself a certain way. Like, you still should, but after they said what they need to say, and they were like, man, if you really knew me, one was, if you really knew me, you would know that I enjoy being single because I don't want to take care of anybody. And people always ask, why don't you get married? This, that, and the other. And she would blame me like, oh, I'm working on my career. I'm focusing on, I think she had children. Maybe she did. I don't know. I'm, focusing on my career. I want to do this. I want to build my business. But she was like, no, I just don't want, when someone gets sick, I just don't want to take care of them. And we were like, okay. And she kind of looked, because it was, so no one's going to say anything after that, because that was another rule. Whatever someone says, you don't say a word, because there's no judgment there. And you could just literally see the relief come off of her, like, whew, I said it. And that was it. So when you share things like, if you really knew me, with some people, that creates a bond. It creates a level of trust, and you get to be like more of yourself around either those people, or when you come back to your different group of people. I know when I came back from the experience, people are like, what happened to you? Because we don't realize subconsciously the weight of some of our most intimate thoughts. We don't know the weight that has been carrying, because sometimes we go put them in a box somewhere, we wrap it up, it's back there, and we don't really deal with it, but it's back there. It's like those tolerations I talked about a couple sessions ago. So when you share with someone, if you really knew me, and you get to say your honest truth, oh my gosh, it does wonders for you. Or it can, if you allow it to. So that's what I want to share with you. You don't have to tell me all of your truth, but I do want to hear from you. Like, down below, comment, find me on other social media platforms when you see the self-work, and comment if you really knew me. And you can keep it surface. Like I said, we didn't do the full agreement, so you don't have to get deep, but I showed you, I told you some of mine. If you really knew me, you would know that I'm an introvert. If you really knew me, you would know that I hid from being called doctor. For a long time, I gave you the example of the lady who said, if you really knew me, you knew that I want to stay single because I really don't want to take care of someone, in their later years. No judgment. People could say, well, somebody could take care of you, but well, that's why I didn't tell you. Right there. That's why, because right there, right? But yeah, I would love to hear from you. Don't go around doing this with everybody now, because again, there was a general, we all had a common goal for going to the retreat. We had already done some work before we got there. And again, we created a safe space for each other to be able to do that. So you can share like some things with your circle to practice, just saying some things and getting some weight off where they won't judge. But I personally don't recommend you going down to the deep crevices. And especially if people aren't on the same journey as you, because just because they're your good friends, that doesn't mean they're on the same journey with you. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it is what it is. All right, so that was part 1 of building your brilliance awareness. We have some minutes, agenda, housekeeping rules. I need to figure out a name for this. I have some announcements. On March 31st, on my business Facebook page, Dr. Vernita Glenn White, I am doing a Facebook Live talking about some of these topics on building brilliance awareness, really showing up to be your full self, even owning your titles and owning your brilliance, all of that, doing a Facebook Live. I'm scheduling it for 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Want everyone to show up. Yes, and we'll be talking about some things over there. My wellness products, I'm about to take those. If you want to connect with me, go to drvernitafreegift.com, drvernitafreegift.com. So that's DR and it's no periods, all straight. And the link is in my bio on here, and I'll put it below, drvernitafreegift.com. You will get a free or complimentary life class, not a life class, but like a mini master class, 10 ways to look good on paper and in life, because we do look good on paper. Like if you know what a resume or a CV is, you know how to put that thing together so you can get that job or get that raise or get that promotion. But then how do we apply those same things in our personal life? So you'll see the guide, and then I'll go through it with you so it can just bring more awareness to you, like, man, that's what's been happening. And then, some more information to be following along there. And then you'll be on my list so you can see all of the other information and all the other great things that I want to share with you, because everything won't be out here on social media. To get the goods, you have to be on the list. All right, so that's that. Any other things I want to announce? I don't know. You let me know how you are doing. Before I take my supplements, let me just go through really quickly. I started an e-commerce business, and I am excited about that. I started an e-commerce business for 2 things, or for 3 reasons. One, I wanted to up-level my health and wellness products. I wanted some that were, higher grade or higher quality. And I came across these supplements. 2, my focus was focusing on educators and people who are in the training and development industry, who constantly pour out themselves mentally and physically, because it's a lot to train and lead people. People don't realize that, but it's a lot. And I wanted to find a way so that they can be healthy as well. Yes, this is weight. Most of my supplements that I take are weight management, but it's all about being healthy and clean living. And even in your home, I got some products coming next month. I wanted people who lead and teach other people to feel good about themselves and show up and be more healthy, because if you are, that image gets presented to those who are following you. And then the third reason, once I learned about the business side, I was like, whoa, I know people who want to have another stream of income, but they don't want to do all of the the entrepreneur stuff, like getting the business license or doing all of that extra work. This is essentially a business in a box. You just follow what they tell you. If you are already active on social media and things like that, or if you know people and you talk to people, you just tell them about the product. And I mean, of course, there's some other work involved, but not that much. It just depends on you and your people and all of that. So we get paid twice a day when someone purchases, and you have the option to either just get your products at a discounted rate and keep sharing with other people, or you can build your own team. It's up to you. You don't have to do any of that. So people will come to me about being more healthy, or they wanted to change careers, and I would be like, I don't know what to tell you. Well, now I do, because I believe in giving practical solutions to complex situations. All right, so I'm going to take my supplements, but before I do, these are some of the other products. I started off with this Activate. It is a 3-day gentle detox, and it really was good. It took 3 days. Things went how they were supposed to go, and you can get this separately. I got this in a bundle. I got this in a package, like with the trim, the burn, and the Activate. This also comes with, it came with burn, but you can get this by itself. It boosts metabolism and increases energy and burns more calories. You take this 3 times a day. I did not take it 3 times a day. I took it 2 times a day, and I still saw results. But again, this isn't like get skinny quick. This is do your part, and the supplements will help. And I tell this to everyone, even when I wasn't fully doing my part, not being as active. Like I still walk, and especially this month, I up my walking and things like that. But I haven't been like as hardcore as I used to be in the gym working out or doing like some real, sweating. But it has maintained where I am, but I've also is burning inside out. I can still feel my muscles getting toned, even with the little activity that I do. So imagine when I up this come April or next month, when I up, my activity, man, you won't be able to tell me nothing. All right. So, then I also do the skincare. So I have a moisturizer, I have a cleanser, an exfoliant, and then I have these products. So this is a serum, a mask, and the moisturizer. But I also have a cleanser and an exfoliant. The best product I like out of all of those is the moisturizer, and it makes your skin feel so soft and smooth, and it has this really, like nice, almost orangey scent to it, but nothing overpowering. And I have sensitive skin, and nothing has happened over here. The cell-proof mask that I use, and tomorrow I'll show you all like the actual bottles. I guess they're working too, so I have to keep using them to see. But for sure, the moisturizer has been my favorites. I have customers who also enjoy the moisturizer and the antioxidant gel. I don't have that one, but I do love when customers go venture out and they try products based on what they're interested in. So now I'm taking my fat burning pudding. I take a tablespoon a day, and this, like I told you, it inhibits fat storage, so it gets down to the core, like the visceral fat. I think it's called visceral fat, like that deep fat that can be around your organs and behind your stomach. It gets to that, and it burns that. So when you have a good workout routine and really a solid diet, you really see the burning at a more rapid rate. But even if you don't, it still works. It also has collagen in it, which we'll talk about that. This is lemon. A little tart. I like it. It's almost like lemon meringue. And then I also had mango, and I just reordered coconut lime. And this is liquid collagen. This one is skin. It's formulated directly for skin. hair, skin, and nails. And we have 4 different types. But this one, highest grade of collagen in the world, it absorbs at like 90%. So if you're used to taking powdered collagen, you've probably seen some results, but it's probably taking you like a good while to see the results in the powdered collagen. And then we don't know where the powdered collagen came from, honestly. Different animal parts and things like that. And we can't regulate the grade, like like I said, the quality of it. And even let's say you got a good quality of powdered collagen, by the time you mix it up, a lot of people put it in coffees or smoothies or teas. By the time you mix it up, it hasn't broken down. I mean, it does break down even more inside of whatever you're mixing it. And then by the time you drink it, it has to go through your digestive system and it gets broken down again. So you're not getting all the nutrients that you think you are, because it probably absorbs at that point maybe 15 to 20%. Whereas the liquid collagen, and this goes for multivitamins as well, if it's liquid, it gets to your system faster. And it absorbs, like I said, about 90%. And then it has hyaluronic acid in it to help with the moisture in your skin, to plump your skin, to give you that youthfulness, to get rid of wrinkles. So it's a really great product. I am loving it. I finally get to finish one bottle. If you know, my grandmother, she wanted to try it, so she took half of my first bottle, which was pure, which was the most basic formula. So I get to see this one. Some of my customers are like, they get to be out on video with no makeup. I don't have on any makeup at all on my skin. And I just washed my face with the products, and there it is. I mean, yes, I did my eyebrows, but I don't have on any foundation or anything like that. All right, so that's what I want to share with you. You can get $10 off your first purchase from me. The link is in the bio. It will also be in the description here. Dr. Vernita Glenn-White.com/wellness, but click the links and message me if you have any other questions. And yeah. Oh, one last thing. I take my probiotic. Almost forgot. I take my probiotic because it's gut health. Taking the probiotic allows everything to move out of the way so that my body can absorb the good things that I took before. All right. So everyone, I think, needs a great probiotic, because it's gut health, which leads to brain health. You can't be brilliant and broke down out here. All right. All right. So I'm Dr. B. Thank you so much for listening and watching with me. I will see you next time. Go be well. Go be bold. Go be empowered. Go be brilliant. I will see you all later. Bye.